Is Dennis here already? Oh, okay, great.
Someone looking for me?
Gunnar, I can't hear you. Sean, I'm unable to hear anything.
It's just that nobody's saying anything at the moment. I've just started the webinar. Okay.
Are we on?
We're on, sir. I'm just waiting for the participants to come in one by one.
Oh, I see. You'll have to remove your earplug and put it on speaker for me.
It's on speaker, sir, at the moment. We have 6 people in. Can we start?
Yes, we should start.
Manoj, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear. Maybe you might want to move your screen so that we can see the slides.
Okay. Does this work? Okay, I think we should start. Okay, welcome everyone to this Cloud Appreciation Series for non-ICT SMEs. So we'll be having a panel of speakers today. Just basic housekeeping. So we will be recording this session and it will be streamed live on YouTube as well. If you have any questions, please try to put them in the Q&A box, or any comments can be put in the chat box. And so now I will introduce our first speaker. These are all the people who will be speaking today. I will introduce our first speaker, Mr. Manish, who is the Vice Chairman of the Singapore Indian Chamber of Commerce. And he will be speaking through my connection because he is overseas on the phone line. And so I'll hand over to Mr. Manish now. Mr. Manish?
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Let's me do a first quick check. Can Gunnar, for example, can you hear me? If you say yes, I'll move on because I'm in a remote place.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Gunnar. Yes, thank you. So I welcome the co-sponsors and co-hosts of this event, this webinar, CDC Cloud Chapter SG Tech, Mr. Gunnar, the chairman, executive committee members, eminent panel members who will share with us insight on how cloud will help the members and the SME and the micro SME members of SICCI to increase or grow their business. And of course, a special thanks to Instarem and NIAM to be a part of this webinar. Let me set the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Singapore Indian Chamber of Commerce is 99 years old. We'll be celebrating our 100th year next year, in the next 1.5 years. And the journey and the mandate has only increased as technology revolution started. We in the last 30 years, 3 decades, we have seen 3 disruptions, right? Mobile, internet, and then mobile telephony, and then now the apps, the whole payment gateway system and the convergence which has come through. SICCI's membership profile is SME and micro SME. Our members are the hard-working part of the Singapore economy. They are in retail, trading, agri, technology, of course, small and medium size of technology. We also do a lot of manufacturing in various sectors. Our members do, I mean. So this is the hard-working end of the pyramid. And we may have members who have as many as 5 employees to maybe 200 employees, and sometimes 500 and above. So the panelists will try and guide the members and SICKI towards a goal, and it could be in various steps, where cloud as a technology will help them reach global markets out of Singapore, which is one of the mandates we have. It will also help our SMEs and micro SMEs follow the path of least resistance to weaponize cloud and create value in their business. So we hear a lot of feedback where SMEs and micro SMEs are not able to hire very expensive IT managers or architects who will come and install various applications and continuously then maintain it. And the CDC chapter and SG Tech will also guide us as to how this can be minimized, how there are partners and there is an ecosystem within SG Tech which will help SMEs and micro SMEs not hire people but outsource work. So then the third part is how payments between Singapore and other partners, vendors of our members can become easier. One is cost saving through InstaREM. The second is ease of doing business through InstaREM. So imagine like this, if somebody is selling cupcakes or there's a small trading business in Singapore and the person or the entrepreneur wants to go global, cloud is one of the way, e-commerce is one of the way. And then the second part is how do you interact, do commercial transactions, do payments. That's where InstaREM will come in. So that's the theme of today's webinar. And I will now hand it back to Guna, and who can help put the SG Tech perspective. And one by one, we have eminent speakers who will guide us through how to solve these business problems for SICKI members. Once again, thanking everybody, and I hope my voice was clear. Guna, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Manish. It was very clear, despite the fact that you're actually traveling. So thank you everyone again for joining, and I'd like to thank SICKI for organizing this event as well as our sponsors today. So as what Manish mentioned, SG Tech as an association of all IT companies in Singapore, I'm the chair for the cloud and data chapter. And what we do is we actually help organizations both from a member perspective, look at how they adopt cloud technologies, cloud platforms for their business. But at the same time, we help our partner organization, like in this case with SICKI, help them in their embrace of cloud as a platform for both technology as well as a business model. So we work with a lot of different types of organizations. We leverage the SG Tech member base, which tends to be ICT based, and we work with them to help the various industry associations and various SMEs. And today, like we said, we initially signed an MOU with SICKI late last year, and the primary purpose being to help the members of SICKI embrace technology. So today we've got a great lineup. We've got Tencent to talk about cloud platforms, and then we've got InstaREM talking about payment solutions, and we actually have a practitioner, Steve from Gets, who will be talking about how they've helped or they can help F&B or retailers implement cloud. So with that, I don't want to hold up the time. Sean, I hand it back to you.
Thank you, Guna. So now we will go to our first speaker, the first panelist of the day, who is Mr. Ying Feng Wei. So Mr. Feng Wei is currently with Tencent as their Cloud Chief Solutions Architect for the Southeast Asia team. Before that, he has worked in banks, system integrators, and in cloud service providers. He's served in different roles in companies including Singapore Technologies, British Telecom, JP Morgan Chase, Standard Chartered, and Alibaba Cloud. He is interested in architectural patterns, design principles, and complex system management. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ying. And now I will stop sharing so you can share your screen. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Let me share my screen.
Go ahead, please.
Hey, let me just do a mic test. Can you hear me clear and loud?
Yes, Mr. Ying.
Right. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for this speaking opportunity from Siki as well as SG Tech. I'm Feng Wei. I'm currently with Tencent Cloud, which is basically a cloud service providers headquartered in China. So in today's topic, I will briefly discussion about some of the new trends that we are seeing on the cloud computing. But I think, yes, cloud computing sometimes seems like a little bit difficult for the small SMEs, but actually cloud is everywhere already. Whether you realize it or not, some of the technologies are actually provisioned or provided from the cloud platform, right? All right. So in today's session, I will briefly go through a short introduction of Tencent Cloud. I think some of you might be curious to know what is Tencent, right? It is a very famous brand in China, but it may not be so in Singapore as well as in the Southeast Asia region. Then I will talk about some of the new trends in the cloud computing. Now, some of them you might actually be able to relate to some of the topics after my session. I think Instagram and as well as the other speakers, they will mention about some of the things they are doing in the cloud computing space to help the SMEs, right? Then I will also talk about some of the solutions, simple solutions that from Tencent Cloud we tailor for the SME segmentation, right? All right, so let me move on. So before I go further, right, let me just play a short video about Tencent Cloud. I hope you will enjoy the short video clip.
Only a few know that each brick of the Great Wall went through 37 processing steps, and only a few know that each rivet of the Eiffel Tower took more than 20 hours of grinding and polishing. Technology is like the bricks of the Great Wall and the rivets of the Eiffel Tower. You don't need to understand its complexity. Technology should be easy to use. Plug and play. A simple brick, a handy rivet. This is Tencent Cloud today. We simplify complex technology, help to flexibly combine technology and business modules. We build big accomplishments from little things, support discretionary access to existing networks, and inject new momentum into business growth. Let Tencent Cloud be your partner, shape a more flexible, efficient, and refined business landscape. Connect to unlimited possibilities. This is where it all begins. Simplicity from complexity. The details of greatness. Tencent Cloud. Only a few.
All right, thanks for watching this video, right? So as you see, the cloud technology sounds like a very complicated technology, right? But to the consumer, to the end user, we want to simplify the complexity so that when you use it, right, it is something that it can help your business, right? So just give a short introduction of Tencent Cloud. We are actually the backbone of the Tencent business, right? So Tencent itself is, we are running in China, we are running the social media, we are running the gaming business, as well as a lot of like fintech related like payment. We have the WeChat Pay, Weixin Pay in China, right? So those kind of business are actually enabled by our cloud technology. As you can see, at the bottom is our infrastructure level is enabled by Tencent Cloud. On top, we have different technologies like a video, security, AI, etc., big data as well. Then on top, we have software service as well as some of the solutions for the finance, for the retail, for the healthcare as well, right? Now, so the Tencent Cloud, we have a global cloud infrastructure, right? Not only in the China, definitely we have the biggest deployment in the China region, but we also cover Southeast Asia. Like in Bangkok, we have 2 data centers, 4 data centers in Singapore, 2 data centers in Indonesia. Even in India, we have the 2 data center in Mumbai and one in China, right? So if you are thinking about to operate the business in the global level, I think relying on the infrastructure by the cloud service providers like Tencent Cloud will be your fastest way to achieve the global kind of expansion. Right. So this is a list of our cloud offerings. Some of them, yes, it requires a little bit IT background to understand and appreciate. But some of them, for example, like the meeting solutions, it's actually just like a Zoom, right? You can plug and play, and you can try to embed them into your business process as well, right? So that is a short introduction of Tencent Cloud. Let me move on to talk about the new trends in cloud computing, right? So first, I think let's take a look at some of the innovations that is actually enabled by the cloud. So for example, I think Instagram, later they will talk more about their kind of payment system, but basically it's a phenomenon that people are nowadays are no longer using the paper currency, right? They are using a mobile payment. They are moving away from the credit card. They are moving away from the nets. Mobile payment using in Singapore's context, right? Using PayNow, PayLah. In China's context, we are using WeChat Pay, Alipay, right? This is a trend that is not stoppable, right? End of the day, I think majority of the market, majority of your consumers will switch to the mobile payment scenario, right? We are also seeing the live commerce, not just e-commerce. Nowadays, people are selling by the live broadcast because people want to get the direct and fastest feedback in terms of what is their product, what is the recommendation, how to use the products. So live commerce has become something that is really hot even in Singapore's context, right? So you can see in Shopee, you can see it in Lazada, people inviting the key opinion leaders to broadcast their products using the broadcast technologies. We are also seeing the short video, right? Like TikTok, like a lot of those applications, right? The people, the normal people like us, we want to share our life style with our friends, with our potential fans, right? So this is a short video. And QR code is another thing, right? QR code, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when I talked to the business leaders in Singapore, I think that the audience here in Singapore, the consumers, they are still not familiar with the QR code. But because of the COVID, right, because the Trace Together application, people nowadays are very familiar with the QR code. They want to take out their mobile phone just to scan the QR code and to get the information, right? So the QR code would definitely be something that you can think about it and try to integrate it into your solutions, into your products and service. And we also seen a lot of mobile games, right? I think 10 years ago, 5 years ago, people play games mainly from their laptop or from their console, like a PS4, PS5, like an Xbox. But nowadays, people just want to use their mobile phone and play the games. And there's a lot of digital currency, whether this is like Bitcoin or this is actually issued by the central bank, like in China is ECNY, which is issued by the central bank of China, right? So those things are all the innovations on the cloud. And people are actually putting all those things together to create the super app where you can enjoy lots of service from different platforms. For example, Grab, for example, I think the ComfortDelGro, they are also developing the super app to integrate your logistic needs, your payment needs, your shopping needs all together. So those are the innovations on the cloud, which is happening right now, right? Now we are also seeing some of the technology trends enabled by the cloud, right? Those are the things that is happening, but it's still not, I would say it's still not 100% phenomenal in this part of the world, right? When is the social CRM? So what is social CRM, right? So the traditional CRM, we want to get to know your customer, but how do you actually reach out to your customer by the social media, right? Be it Facebook, be it the LinkedIn, be it WhatsApp or in WeChat, those kind of social platform. How do you engage your customer, right? Though this is something that we are seeing this kind of trends in the China market and even in the Southeast Asia market, we are seeing this kind of trends. So it's time to actually embrace them as well. Now, another thing is the virtual world networks, right? This is a term coined in the China market, but overseas market, people usually just say the metaverse. So what can the metaverse bring to the SMEs? How do you bring your service and your products to the metaverse platform so that you can sell to the people who are living in the metaverse, right? So this will be another trend you can think about it. Another thing is about artificial intelligence, right? Now, artificial intelligence deals a lot with algorithms, those kind of things that is very complex to understand, but there is ready applications. For example, facial recognition, for example, the OCR, right? You do not need to understand the complexity of the technology, but you can still use those kind of technology to carry out your business, your process, right? So those are the three things I will highlight. I would like to share with audience today about the social media, virtual world networks, as well as artificial intelligence. All right, let me move on to the last topic about our Tencent Cloud solution for the SME. So first, I would just to talk about the VO meeting, right? So VO meeting is something like a Zoom meeting, right? It basically provides a lot of features similar to the Zoom meeting. But unlike Zoom meeting, we don't have the 45 minutes limitation, meaning that now you don't need to pay to get to subscribe to a business account. You can have the meeting as long as as the meeting requires, right? So that is a VO meeting. It offers super capacity. It can host up to 2,000 participants at the same time. It provides high definition. The network experience will be smooth, and it's deployed globally. So that means you can connect not only within the Singapore, but you can connect back to the India, to your business counterparts in US, in Europe, even in China, right? And it provides actual low latency, so there will not be delay between your voice and your counterpart's voice, right? And it provides a very stable experience. Now, it also provides some of the features like breakout rooms, so you can organize a smaller discussion if you have different topics among the meeting. We also have what we call the ladies will love this feature is called the beauty filter. So when you apply this, right, you will see all those smooth, all those blush, those kind of features to make you look better in front of the screen, right? So this is a VO meeting. You can Google it and just to sign up, and it's absolutely free for you, right? Now, another product is the Lighthouse. It's basically an application server, but it's easy for you, right? So, for example, when you want to build a website for your corporation, or you want to build an e-commerce website, you can use the Lighthouse. The starting point price is as low as like $7 per month. So that is really affordable, and you can just use it, and it will help you to build your website in a very efficient manner. Let's take a short video as well.
Tencent Cloud Lighthouse is a one-stop cloud server service tailored for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and developers. Lighthouse is an ideal solution for different lightweight business scenarios, including website building, web applications, mini programs, development and test environments, cloud storage, image hosting, e-commerce, audio video services, game servers, and so forth. It comes with out-of-the-box features that are easy to use and operate. Compared with traditional cloud virtual machine, CVM, Lighthouse is more suitable for SMEs and developers, which offers cost-effective resource bundles for computing, storage, and network, as well as high bandwidth and traffic packages. Lighthouse simplifies cloud service operation, use, and management, and
it has a single unified management console where basic cloud services are integrated in one stop. Lighthouse embeds the optimal software stacks required by application systems such as websites, blogs, and forums, and pre-configures infrastructure services, including computing, network, and storage. Lighthouse provides a rich set of out-of-the-box app and system images, allowing users to deploy apps in seconds, configure, and manage various applications easily. Tencent Cloud Lighthouse, your best way to get started with Tencent Cloud.
Right. Thanks for watching. Right. So let me just summarize what is the Lighthouse about. Right. It's basically it's an out-of-the-box cloud server that is meant for the web application, website hosting, those kind of scenarios. It's very easy to use. It's one click you can deploy your website, and it's cost effective. As I mentioned, it's starting like $7 per month, and it is very easy in terms of operation and the maintenance. Right. So those are the scenarios you can consider if for your small business, SME business, you wanted to, for example, to provide the website, you wanted to run certain web applications like e-commerce, right? Let's say if you are startup in the software development kind of service, then you can use it for the development test as well, right? So basically that's a summary of the Lighthouse. Right, so if you are interested to find out more, feel free to scan this QR code, and this will link you to our Tencent Cloud International's website. And again, I would thank the organizer as well as the audience. That's Feng Wei from Tencent Cloud. I will hand over back to Sean. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feng Wei. So now we will hand over to our next speaker, who is Mr. Sanjeev. One second. So Mr. Sanjeev is the global head of SME and commercial payments at InstaRem, and he manages the corporate and B2B commercial payment business. He has many years of industry experience in building innovative payment solutions for SMEs, and he brings cost saving and digitization driven efficiencies. InstaRem is a leading global payment solution provider across multiple markets and provides a multi-line product portfolio focused on, one second. Right, so multi-line product portfolio focused on cross-border and domestic payments, collection, and card-based payments. So over to you, Mr. Sanjeev.
Thank you, Sean, and let me begin by sharing my screen. Just give me a minute. Okay. So hello, everyone. Good evening. And thank you, Siki, and thank you, SG Tech, for giving us an opportunity to present InstaRem solution in this session. As Sean was introducing, InstaRem is a global cross-border payment business. We are headquartered in Singapore, and we have now become the first B2B payments unicorn in Southeast Asia with a valuation of more than $2 billion. So our strength and what I want to cover in today's session principally is to share a little bit around how are we helping SME clients in terms of digitizing the transaction payments that they ultimately do. So our platforms are all based on cloud that can be accessed through a web application or an app. And what you can then do using this is to make different kinds of payments and then look at how you can get savings and efficiency. So that's what I'm going to cover in my session. Basically, our focus is also to support small and medium enterprises, but we also offer our services for consumers. So if you would want to make payments on the personal front, that's also what you can do. Being a Singapore headquartered company, our focus is always on Asia, but we at the same time have spread ourselves in more than 11 countries, enabling payments in 170 countries worldwide. So 11 countries, we have our own licenses, while we process payments to 170 countries. Currently, we are doing about $6 billion plus US dollars in transaction volume across different geographies. In terms of the industries that we work with, basically we work with practically everybody who is interested in making payments, as long as these payments are for cross-border purposes. We are a licensed business. So as you know, when we talk about cross-border payments, we are talking about a business that is under the central bank. So not only are we governed under the MAS license and principles, we are also governed by the other 10 central banks where we operate. And being a global business and a global operation, we make sure that we adhere to all the requirements that the central banks have from us, especially in terms of safeguarding the client's money and ensuring that it reaches the destination on time. Another thing about this is the fact that we have a very strong compliance culture and infrastructure, because we are deemed as a large payment institution. We are not a money changer. We are a large payment institution, nearly the same as a bank. So we are following all the guidelines as laid out by the central bank in terms of how we process these payment flows. Just as a quick introduction to who are investors, the company was formed in 2015, so we are about a 7-year-old business. We already, as I said before, become a unicorn. We are headquartered in Singapore, and as you can see, one of our principal investors is Temasek Holdings, which is the Ministry of Finance, through 2 principal funding arms, which is Vertex and Fullerton Financial. Besides that, we have blue chips who have invested in our business, which includes some big names like Visa, GFC, which again is a funding arm or a big financial institution of Singapore. So because of this, because of the kind of pedigree that we carry, we have a very strong credibility. And I'm sure one of the things that comes in the minds of our customers is that, if I shift my transfers from using the traditional banking system to a fintech, is the money going to be safe? So I want to assure all the customers who are hearing this conversation that given the fact that we as a company have been invested by some of the biggest blue chips out over there, your money is going to be absolutely safe when dealing through us. Now, let me kind of talk about a little bit about some of the challenges that most of our SME clients face when they're trying to do cross-border payments. Now, the cross-border payment business could be of 2 types. One could be when you're trying to pay someone, who could be a supplier or who could be an employee working overseas, and you're trying to pay their salary outside of say, Singapore as a market. Or it could also be where you're trying to collect money from your customer against an invoice, and your customer is based overseas and is trying to make a payment to you. So both these are the 2 sides of the same coin, which means either you paying out or you are collecting, which is called paying in. And what InstaREM does is adds value on both sides of this coin, and therefore help you mitigate any kind of challenges that you might face in both these flows. So the first challenge that most customers would tend to have is, what is going to be the cost of making these payments? So if I have to pay somebody, what is it going to cost me? And one of the things that we have noticed over the years is that typically this involves you're paying in a different currency than SGD, which is the home currency. So it ends up that you have to pay a foreign exchange conversion cost. Now, there is a lot of ambiguity around how this may get presented in the market. I'm using the word may. In terms of people saying that, oh, you're not going to pay any fees or charges. But actually what happens is that somewhere there is some cost that is inbuilt into what is shown as a rate at which the currency is converted. Now, and that's typically a challenge that most clients face, is to figure out what that cost is, because it's hidden, it's ambiguous, it is not clearly defined or shown. There is less transparency around that. So it's very difficult for any client, whether you are wanting to do it personally for your own transfers or as a business, to manage the cost. because the first thing is to understand what the cost is before you can manage it, and that's where there is ambiguity. The second is the speed of transfer. Now, this is super important for those SMEs who typically are trying to purchase goods from overseas, because for them the priority is that, can my supplier receive the funds so that they can release the goods or ship the goods so that I can receive them and fulfill the order that I have on hand. So the speed of transfer is super important, and that's quite a challenge, because if you're using sometimes the bank, the payment may reach in T+1, T+2 kind of days. Sometimes it may even get stuck. And then, you know, as a client, we need to follow up with the financial institution in terms of where the money is. The third thing is the challenge is the currencies and how many currencies can you send into. And sometimes people may trade with globalization now happening, you know, in faraway countries like in Africa or Latin America. And so for some of these exotic kind of currencies, it's very tough to find vendors who can help you make payments, or even if you go to the banks and try them, it typically would involve very high costs. And then most importantly is the support function, because what happens is that if you're trying to send money and inevitably because the money moves through different intermediaries, there may be sometimes situations where the money gets stuck and your beneficiary doesn't receive the funds. So then the whole problem is, how do I get support to trace where their payment is, and who do I reach to get a resolution of that issue? So these are some of the challenges that most of the customers would face when they are doing payments. I'm not saying they're facing this all the time, but its likelihood is that one or two of these issues will come up as a challenge if you are part of the payment infrastructure. So basically, fundamentally, what customers want to look for is, I want a timely and cost-effective payment. I want to make sure that my beneficiary receives the payment on time and at a cost that I can pay for and is reasonable. Second is, you know, as I was saying, the geography part of it, and the fact that there should be enough currencies that I can play around with depending on who I want to pay, and necessarily not limit myself to just doing a transfer in US dollars. Then, you know, as a business, most people would want that the fees and charges be spelled out in a transparent manner so that they understand what the cost is that they are paying, rather than just getting a rate that they are told that they need to pay and not understand what that rate is made up of. And lastly, in terms of the efficiencies around how that would happen, so whether it is you know, it being frictionless, you know, happening in a seamless manner, with I can have a peace of mind that once I process it, you know, my beneficiary will receive it and I don't have to kind of follow up. And if God forbid there is, I can rely upon an account manager or somebody that I can reach out to, and not just a faceless chatbot or a helpline, which I need to keep calling to figure out where the payment is. And lastly, that there should be enough controls around the fact that you know, the platform that I'm using is while based in the cloud, has enough protection against the transaction data being protected, fraud not happening, enough compliance controls, so that I'm in line with the policies and governance around managing these payments. So these are the needs that you know, an SME or a mid-sized company would definitely want to have, just to make sure that this whole process is managed efficiently. So what do we do as a service? We have three lines of services. One is, as I was saying, sending money, which is the cross-border payments to more than 60 countries or 170 geographies. Most of these transfers that we do happen in less than 15 minutes. So the speed part of that is addressed by the fact that we have the capabilities to do real-time payments. And as long as you make a fund transfer to me, I can enable your beneficiary to receive payments in several currencies in less than 15 minutes. And then we also cover various exotic corridors like Middle East and Africa, as I was saying. The other innovative part is that we also allow you to make a payment by credit card. So in order to fund the cross-border payment that you're asking us to do, we allow the SMEs to use their credit card. The reason why credit card is becoming popular as a funding tool is because it provides you up to 55 days of cash flow. There's a 30-day card statement period and 20-25 days typically what you get from a bank to pay down your card. So you can extend your payments by up to 55 days by using the credit card, and also get some points and miles which you can use then for your future business travel. So fund by card is now becoming very popular as a mechanism for cross-border payments. And lastly is the collection part, where we also do the reverse, where you can send, when you're sending an invoice to your customer to collect money from them in 6 currencies, which is SGD, HKD, Australian dollars, US dollars, the pound and euro. You can actually set up a virtual collection account through our platform, and your customers can pay locally in these currencies, and we can make this money available to you in a few minutes. So it kind of saves you the entire cost of getting that money sent by SWIFT and receiving it in T+1-2 days with intermediary deductions happening. So there's cost saving there, as well as the speed with which you can collect money from your customers. So this is the end-to-end solution, both sending money and collecting money, as well as funding the sending part of the money through credit card. So I've kind of talked about it. The solution is transparent. 60% of the payments are done in less than 15 minutes. We have a wide network through which you can manage, payouts to practically all parts of the world. And we always provide you a local relationship manager to manage your account. So someone that you can reach out to and talk to in case you have a question or an issue. This is a screenshot of the portal. So on our portal on the extreme left, you can see there is always the balance that is shown in terms of what you are holding with us. The balance can be in SGD, USD, and then it shows you the exchange rate. So the best part is on our portal, we always show you what is the live FX rate between 2 currency pairs, as well as what is the fees that is going to be charged. So the pricing is super transparent. We keep it effective, cost effective and low, but we also kind of show it to you. So at any given moment of time, you're always in control because you have awareness about what is the cost that you are paying, and it is not hidden in the rate. So we display it upfront for you. I now want to show you a small video about what we do. Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to share with you all. I would want to hand this thing back to Sean. Sean, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjeev. Just give me 1 second. So our next speaker, can you see the screen? Okay, so our next speaker, Mr. Suresh Agarwal. He is the current Honorary Secretary of the Cloud and Data Chapter from SG Tech. He is also the Managing Director for Agarwal Private Limited. Over to you, Mr. Suresh.
Thank you. So we've heard great sessions and how to try and use the complexity that some of these solutions have to offer in a simple way in our business. We have tried to heard about the CSP from Tencent. We also heard how you can make the payment solutions easy with Instagram, and I'm pretty sure you would have come across a number of solutions, including ERP, CRM, and so on and so forth, which you probably can host on cloud. So we'll try to show that how we as SG Tech take care of the complexity in trying to streamline and provide you guidance of how you can buy cloud services from cloud service providers, which again tries to show you a slight flavor of what are the different complexities and how do we make it easier for you. So primarily, there are multiple standards that are there. I won't get too much in detail of it, but MTCS is multi-tier cloud standards, and on top of that, we have COIR, which is TR62, and on top of that, we have another cloud native standard. So the whole idea is to try and understand for you to try and prepare documents so that you can understand the business risks in simple way format, and then try to map those requirements, business risks and requirements, to the potential solutions available in the market. Now, in order to do that, you also need to try and figure out how do the different solutions that are available in the market map to your requirements. And that is somewhere where that is some place where the guidance document and helps it. I'm not trying to read through the slides because I think most important is to get the gist of it, that there is a lot of complexities that have gone into to try and figure out what are your requirements, how to simplify your requirements, how to document your requirements, and then how do you try to select the best possible solution that is available in the market. When it comes to complexity, these are different parameters that you can see on the screen where you need to evaluate each of the solution against before you can try and select a solution. One of the simple way could be, are you running a category A, which is a mission critical application, or are you running a website which is a minimal impact application? So all these criteria are embedded in a simplified format. Each of these criteria have different values to it to try and see what, but you don't need to worry about it because this is the work done in the standards and the guidelines development committee, which has worked over the number of years to try and simplify. So what you just try to do is capture your business needs at a simple level, or you just try to select what level you want, and then from there. I just want to extend this slightly to the cloud native security guidelines. Now, once you have, these days you want to, I'm sure you would have heard, a lot of you would have heard that it is best to have the applications on cloud environment in a cloud native format. Now, cloud native format comes with its own challenges and details about with the technology. There could be security concerns, there could be outage concerns, and so on and so forth. We have taken a look at all of these and again try to divide them into layers, into levels, and to which vendor is trying to provide what level of security. Again, you try to see from your perspective what level of security you need, and then you can choose a solution. Again, this slide, maybe I'll just go through slightly in detail on this. You can try and have a good understanding whether you are just taking the infrastructure from the CSP, then a lot of things are managed by you. At the same time, if you're taking software as a service from the CSP, then a lot of things should be managed by the CSP. And this is where the guideline comes impactful, because then the CSP has to disclose how they meet the different guidelines. And for your case as an SME, it becomes easy to procure as to what kind of service you need, as long as you know that a particular CSP is declaring in the market that these are the guidelines they need. Why do we have TR82? Since we are going to launch this today after this call, let me just take this opportunity to explain this. There are multiple standards, and MTCS was a standard which was the multi-tier cloud security standard. Being cloud native is the new development, as we heard from Tencent also earlier. where they identified in a very simplified format what are some of the new developments in terms of AI and other things. So here is the guideline that applies just to cloud native. Just to give you a flavor that this standard is a multiple combination of multiple standards that you can see over here. So to give you a flavor that yes, a lot of complexity has gone in to try and simplify this for you. Over to you, Sean. This is primarily what I wanted to cover.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh. So now I will hand over to Mr. Dennis Chung, who will be moderating the panel discussion. Mr. Dennis, over to you.
Yep. Thanks, Sean. Hi, everyone. My name is Dennis. I happen to be the Vice Chair for Cloud and Data chapter. I have here with me today 4 gentlemen, Mr. Manish, representing the SICKI community, Mr. Guna, who looks at the Cloud and Data chapter within SG Tech. We have Mr. Sanjeev and we have Steve. But before I point questions at them, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put it into the Q&A panel, Q&A box. We can pick it up later or we can answer direct as we go along. I want to kind of give you what we want to do in the next couple of 15 to 20 minutes. Just 3 things, right? We are going to try and understand what challenges some of our members have been meeting, okay, and understand how GETS and InstaRAM has been helping them. And then lastly, you as members, where you can get help. So I hope Manish is still on the call. I know he's mobile. Manish, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here, Dennis. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I was so worried you dropped off. Yeah. So Manish, you represent the SICKI community, and you've probably been hearing with them from time to time, and regularly going to cloud, I understand, can be fearful. What are some of the challenges you have been hearing from members of the community?
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. I will just elaborate one more time what I said in my opening remarks. And the community is very keen to go to be a part of the digitalization program, but they work very hard to put food on the table every day for lots of people they employ. So 3 things: they don't have the skills, so it's very hard for them to find the skills to do a payment gateway, a cloud manifestation, possibly putting a POS system which integrates with their HR system, and so on. And so skill is one. And second is the time. They, as entrepreneur managers, they don't have enough time to create a Gantt chart, PERT chart, and do all that complex things which we IT people do and, revel in it. So they want things simplified. Somebody could handhold them, just tell them the completion date, this is the money, this is the grant, so the time factor. And last but not the least is they want it simplified. They want it in business language. They do not want it in technical language. So they want very simplified solutions, which is easy for them to understand. They can fathom it, and then they're happy to pay for it and move on. So
yeah, I'm hearing skills, times to market. Thank you. I'm hearing skills, time to market, and daunting task of going the digitalization path. I hear that. That's very common. And if I were to point finger at Guna, right? Guna, from a SG Tech perspective, right? What are some of the commonality and challenges you're hearing from our members?
Hey, thanks, Dennis. I think the challenges are pretty much the same. But I think there is a mismatch from a market situation perspective. One, I agree with you, skills is difficult to come by, or people find that it's difficult to hire a person with maybe cloud skills and knowledge. There may be more of perception. SG Tech represents the IT community, and in SG Tech, we do have very small members who are in the 5 to 10 man range, all the way down to the big organization like.
Sorry, Guna. I lost you in the last 10 seconds. You still there?
Can't hear you, Mr. Guna.
Okay, so Sean, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Well, while we wait for Guna to recover. Yeah, Guna, I can hear you now. Is that you?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, Guna. Okay, maybe we come back to Guna later. But I think the problems we are all facing is pretty consistent. I just want to point fingers towards Steve. Just want to let you know, Steve, we are welcoming him to the panel, and thanks for taking time away from wherever you're doing to join us and share your experiences. We did not have a chance to learn about GETS. So Steve, if you're there, I'd like to ask if you could give us like a 1 or 2 minute kind of intro to what GETS does and what you offer.
Sure. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Dennis. Appreciate the organizer, SG Tech, Siki, to have this time to share with everyone. So let me do a quick introduction. So what GETS does, I'm Steve. I'm the founder of the company. What GETS does is we are the end journey to enable the magic that we are talking about, how we actually provide the results for SMEs. Specifically, we are the applications solution, software as a service on the cloud platform for SME to actually specifically focusing on F&B, and some of it is in the retail space. What we actually aim to do is actually help the F&B to transform digitally on the cloud services, because there is always challenges, as all the speaker has mentioned, right? Everybody is daunted by certain tech level of knowledge, skill set. So what we do is we actually bridge this gap by introducing softwares that are really simple for SME to actually manage this. Literally, you could hire people with low-tech services, low-tech knowledge, and they can actually use application to improve their specific process of their workflow. For example, maybe I'll share a little bit more background on where we are and how we get experience. More than 10 years ago, McDonald's delivery, if you can remember, I'm sure everybody have ordered one way or another. So what we have actually done is we built Mac delivery. That was one of our first few case study. We actually built out Sakai delivery, way ahead even where we get to see GrabFood and Foodpanda in the market, right? So that during those point of time, we were very familiar with the SMEs and their market need, and we realized that very often it's hard for them to come up with that solution, or even if they were to build out applications on their own, it would take a long time. It would take so many months, and not forgetting the fundings they need to raise to actually build this capability. So we kind of simplify things to make sure that it's as simple, the adoption is as simple as this. We currently power over 1,000 F&B in Singapore. Some of the names you probably could see you could see that, for example, if you were to Google like Long Beach, if Collins, Carl's Jr., if you were to just search online for Carl's Jr. delivery, you will see us. If you were to see, Collins, those close to 1,000 F&B is using our solution. We are white label, meaning that people do not see GETS. I'm sure that you probably have not heard about GETS, but we are out there. We are the backbone, white label, powering all these F&B, so that the F&B could actually spend their time focusing on what they are good at, which is food preparation and food quality. Whereas in terms of the front end of the services, in terms of island-wide delivery, in-store QR contactless ordering, pickup, CRM, membership services, and even domestic money transfer. So I think specifically one of the challenges about F&B is always payment issue. How do you actually get consumer to order and make payment through in-store and online? How do you get your settlement of the fund fast? Cash flow is king, right? You want your cash flow instant within a day. So in short, that's what I do. If we have more time, I'm happy to run a quick video for us to just to understand a little bit more. It's a short video to understand what kind of solution we actually provide for the industry.
Sean, do we have time?
We do. Which video was it, Mr. Steve? There were two videos.
The second one would be good. The shorter one, 3 minutes.
The Ichiban muttons?
Sure.
Okay, 1 second.
Konnichiwa, welcome to Ichiban. We are your...
Okay, let me just share screen.
It's familiar voice. I'm sure you have heard if you have been listening to Class 95. These are our DJs, the Muttons. So they're actually running F&B. They just started up this F&B just 2 months ago, and this is what we have done for them.
Konnichiwa, welcome to Ichiban. We are your muttons in the morning from class 95, Justin Lang and Bernard A. I didn't know you speak Japanese. Arigato. Oh, you wanted to replicate what it's like to be in Japan. Of course, you know, it's been a while since any of us have been to Japan, so we wanted somewhere a little nice, a little quaint, a little smaller than usual, and enjoy delicious Japanese food at an amazing price. So previously, of course, we run Phuket as well. The Char Siu restaurant down at Killarney. If you've never been there, how dare you?
Yeah,
but,
we will killing you.
But that's right. So at Killarney, we had already set up a system at Phuket with the awesome guys at Gets. So the transition was really, really easy. But when we thought we'd bring it to Ichiban, we expand a little bit on what it can do. Now that we knew all the functions, and so we ended up doing a all-in-one integrated system. The QR ordering system on the table, where people know about this. They can scan the QR code and get the menu using the POS system as well. The CRM to get in touch with our customers, give them memberships, give them discounts, as well as online delivery, which makes it so much easier for us to make it easy for our customers to order anywhere they are in Singapore or here. So it really is a good thing and really helps the business because everything is automated. So the processes are automated, which cuts your manpower down from a shop like this where you normally need like 5-6 people to run a store with all the processes and that. Because it's automated, you can run it with half the manpower, and this leads for more productivity, more food and dishes can go out to the customer, and that obviously in turn leads to more sales, and more sales means we can buy more clothes for ourselves. Oh yeah, we don't have to cut our own hair, polish shoe. Right? Sorry, you cut your own hair. I cut my own hair. Why you think my hair is like that? I got no mirror. The experience has been amazing. They're really on the ball, like a takoyaki ball. They are very on the ball. With a very reliable back-end system, so some people, when they have their own system, they have to monitor everything themselves. They monitor the food, monitor the riders and all that. Gets with their system, they actually monitor everything for you, end to end, from the moment the food comes out of the kitchen to the moment it goes to the riders and all that. So they make it really, really easy and fuss-free for us as the operator, to give our customers a seamless experience. So they work 12 hours a day, Monday to Sunday, regardless whether it's a public holiday or not. Wow. Which give them more takoyaki boil. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting video, Steve. I'm curious. Other than the two fellas, Muttons, did they hire any technical or IT guys in their business?
Absolutely no. In fact, if you see in F&B, it's quite straightforward in SME. Not many people hire, the dedicated IT guy. I want to share my experience even for larger SMEs. I've shown you names that are slightly larger SMEs. You will be surprised. Even most of them do not even have dedicated full-time IT personnel. But what happens is we bridge that gap to make sure that they could actually manage it even on their existing manpower, be it in store or even their HQ management. Yeah.
Got it. So if any of our members basically need help in any of the transformation, basically they can reach out to you and just leverage on what you know.
Absolutely.
Okay, just one last question, right? What's your advice if any of the members here want to do a digital transformation?
Wow, take the first step out. I would say that it's not as scary as you imagine. Yes, I'm sure that there's a lot of tech lingo that we don't understand, but actually trust the market that a lot of solution provider like us would actually have studied your industry, doesn't matter, is it retail or is it F&B? We have spent more than a decade studying every end-to-end flow of it. Our job is really to let you automate your process, by truly understanding your process. So take that step out, try it, and if there's one thing you're worried, ask for a trial. Right, ask for a pilot, and that would alleviate your concerns.
Okay, so if I invest into a kind of like a food and beverage, I know who to reach out to now.
Yeah, cool. Happy to see.
Thanks, Steve.
Welcome.
Okay, I'm gonna point towards Sanjeev. So Sanjeev, we learned about your InstaRAM service earlier on, and you actually shared quite a lot of the challenges. Now, for those challenges and to be able to trust you dealing with our money, usually money quite sensitive. So my question here to you is, if any of our members are actually wanting to use your service to overcome those problems which you have highlighted earlier, how do you address some of their concerns? Do they have to be worried about security, or how do you address some of those problems that they typically come to you for?
Yeah, so let me answer it in two ways. So first is the concern that typically occurs in the mind is around, is my money safe, right? Can I trust this institution with my money? So there are two, again, sub parts to that. One is the credibility of who the institution you would want to work with. And if you look at InstaRAM and what I presented, we are invested into by some of the best blue chips that names out over there, including Temasek. So to that extent, there is a huge credibility, about the fact that your money is going to be safe. The second thing is that we are a fully licensed and regulated business. So basically, we are a large payment institution, which is one notch below the bank, and we follow a similar KYC, KYB process as in a very comprehensive and detailed manner, just like what MAS as a regulator for us in Singapore would want us to do, and similar the other central banks in the 10 other markets that we operate. So both from making sure that we are regulatory compliant, the fact that the money that comes to us sits in a client secure account and cannot be touched by us, the fact that our credibility in terms of the investors who have created this company and is people like Temasek Holdings puts us several notches over other Me Too kind of providers in the market. And that's how we address the concerns that many of the client may have. The other part of this is that we also, when you transfer through us, the platform that we use is hosted on AWS Cloud. And we ensure that the levels of safety and encryption is to the industry standards, so that even if you share, for example, your credit card details with us as one of the options to fund a transfer that I was sharing earlier in my presentation, is digitally encrypted and secured. Our platform is PSI DSS compliant, which is the highest industry standard that you can have for accepting card-based transactions. So we have invested a lot in building this tech infrastructure that is fully compliant to all possible requirements that this regulator would have on us.
So as a customer, if I want to use InstaRAM, right, do I have to deal with AWS?
No, you don't have to. So what happens is that when you come on our platform, you get to log into our platform by registering on our system through a KYC, KYB process, and then you get access into a cloud-based solution, which you can use through a user ID password. So you don't have to subscribe to AWS, but you can onboard yourself on our platform and then use our platform, which is internally hosted by us on the AWS cloud.
Got it. Because many of our members may not have invested into technology expertise, and hence they can basically leverage your expertise to manage such cloud solution without kind of having to deal with cloud per se.
Absolutely, and it can be accessed anywhere through a web-based solution or an app. So you don't actually have to be physically present in a particular location to use it. You can be anywhere in the world and still log into it.
Yeah, so in general, as you leverage any cloud service providers, whether AWS, Azure, GCP, Tencent, and so forth, what are some of the benefits or advantages that you see, perhaps for our members who are interested to develop some technology themselves on cloud?
So from basically from our perspective, we are a payment service provider. So what we have done is build that infrastructure on AWS cloud as a payment infrastructure to provide a plug and play model. So the customers just log into it through user ID, password, and through that digital platform that we offer, they can gain things like operational efficiency because of the fact that your whole onboarding and the processing of payment is very seamless and smooth. Again, the benefit on the security side of it in terms of encryption of data, the storage of data, making sure that there is very little downtime so that your payments don't get stuck when you want to actually make them in a speedy manner. The efficiency around how you can use the various computing resources that are out over there. They all combine together to provide this cost optimization. Because at the end of the day, the SME is looking for how do I manage my cost and do this whole transaction in a very operational, efficient manner, and that's what we provide as a package.
So the cloud provider basically provides you things like you do not have to worry about availability, resiliency, building a data center. You basically leverage the services that they have instead of you having to build the data center yourself, right?
Absolutely. And then use this platform as a front end, as your own way of gaining access into all these benefits that that we all just talked about.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you. So as we find those problems that we have been defining as a community, we learn some of the solutions that our members or even solution providers in the world has been providing to members like us. We just really have to kind of leverage it if you agree with me. And I really don't have to kind of learn deep technical expertise to create that solution myself per se. And I just leverage GETS or InstaRAM services, and if there are compliance requirements, I can leverage on your experience from there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that kind of wraps up the panel. But before we let everybody go and returning the floor back to Sean, I just wanted to invite Manish and Guna to see if they have any final words for us. Guna, Manish?
Hopefully you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you, Guna.
Sorry, buddy, just now. I'm not sure why the voice went off. Anyway, last word.
I'm here.
Okay, so Manish, why didn't you go first?
No, Guna, you go ahead. You just wrap it up.
Okay, thanks.
From both of us.
So thank you everyone for coming. What we tried to do today is basically two things. One, as a SICKI member, if you're primarily in the food and beverage industry, both InstaRAM and GETS both come from different angles. One from a payment perspective, B2B payments, and the other one is around how we can actually give you a digital experience or help you automate so that you can be more productive, leverage technology to reduce the manpower required, like what Steve showed with the video from Muttons. And we also shared with you the document that SG Tech has published together with the IMDA, which is if you're looking for cloud and you want to go through a rigorous check on what cloud standards are and what you should be looking for in a cloud. So Suresh has given you that document or shared with you this for the document help you do it. So effectively between SG Tech and SICKI, both our organizations are here committed and ready to help SICKI members and anyone in the industry in their transformation to the cloud. So we have the member organization like GETS and InstaRAM to help you. But at the same time, if you do have a problem, Sean will flash off 2 email addresses. So you can drop an email to SICKI or you can drop a mail to SG Tech and we'll get back to you and see how we can help you as either association. All right, Manish, I hope that wraps up for you. If you have nothing to add, we can pass the call back to Sean to wrap up for the day.
No. Thanks, Guna, as always. Perfect, wonderful wrap up. I also want to tell everybody, since I wear 2 hats, I'm also EXCO member in SG Tech CDC chapter. Guna, so privileged to be a part of that team, and of course in SICKI. So it was a wonderful webinar and experience. And Sean, back to you to close the seminar.
Thank you, Mr. Manish. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. So that was the webinar. If any of you have questions, you can write to either of these 2 emails. And this video will be available on YouTube as well, so you can always reference that. Thank you again for joining.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, SG Tech. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
panelists as well. Bye-bye.